EcoHealth Alliance is in the middle of this coronavirus gain-of-function dispute and controversy and potential fraud. They're, in the meantime, getting money still in the middle of the pandemic from Department of Homeland Security related to biological threats. So another big deal is COVID. It's still a big deal. And why is it a big deal? Well, because the government engaged in significant misconduct that probably got people killed unnecessarily because of the maniacal, unscientific, dangerous responses that the government mandated and restrictions the government mandated both at the local, state, and federal level in response to the COVID pandemic. And as you know, Judicial Watch has been a leader in exposing not only what these policies were doing, but the development of the vaccines that are so controversial, where COVID came from, what was its origin potentially, was the government hiding about what the government was hiding about its work in China and elsewhere, including here in the United States, in terms of gain-of-function research. And specifically on that issue, Judicial Watch most recently uncovered how the NIH, Fauci's agency, was knowingly funding mutant coronavirus research back in 2016. That was when the program began. Specifically, bat coronavirus research. They were developing mutants. And mutant isn't my word, it's their word. It's funny, I never thought to call gain-of-function research, gain-of-function changed viruses as mutant viruses, but they figured out, well, that's what they are, and that's the language they used in the specific grant request from this group called the EcoHealth Alliance, which was this cutout for the Fauci agency and other agencies to conduct gain-of-function research, including in China at the Wuhan Institute that involved bat coronaviruses. And the concern is either that specific research or the techniques the Chinese learned from having that support from EcoHealth and federal agencies help them create or concoct or develop, either accidentally or on purpose or however it happened, not only the COVID virus, but who knows what other god-awful viruses they're able to develop as a result of this expertise, which is inherently dangerous. So EcoHealth Alliance has notoriously been funded by the Fauci agency, NIH, NIAID, the National Institute for Allergic and Infectious Diseases, but there are other government agencies that have funded EcoHealth, including the Defense Department, including the Department for Homeland Security, which gave them a big grant as part of the U.S. Biological Defense Program. So this EcoHealth Alliance, which is implicated in improper gain-of-function research, was also getting money from DHS for what we don't know. And that's why we sued. We filed a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit against the U.S. Department of Homeland Security for records and communications between that agency and the U.S. Biological Defense Program regarding a $2 million grant awarded by the Ground Truth Network to EcoHealth Alliance. Now, Ground Truth Network is part of this Department of Homeland Security program. EcoHealth Alliance, as I said, is implicated in using tax dollars for gain-of-function coronavirus research at the Wuhan Institute for Virology and elsewhere in China. The lawsuit names the National Biosurveillance Integration Center and the Office of Health Affairs, which are part of DHS's U.S. Biological Defense Program, which was established to increase the U.S.'s preparedness against chemical and biological threats through improved threat awareness, advanced surveillance and detection, and responsive countermeasures. The Ground Truth Network was set up under the National Biosurveillance Integration Center. So Judicial Watch filed the lawsuit after the DHS failed to respond again to a February 2023 request, so it's 4 or 5 months ago, for records and communications about these projects. And we've got the specific grant numbers. So it's not like, oh, we heard there was money, can you tell us what happened? No, we know there was money. there's a specific grant number that you can click through and you can see the grant listed. But the problem is they don't have any of the details about what they were paying EcoHealth Alliance to do. Like, we wanted to know, what's the credibility of the sources from whom any information was obtained from this entity, this ground truth network. What was the result of the grant? According to USAspending.gov, the grant awarded to EcoHealth Alliance was awarded in September 2016 with a potential end date of October 2022. Of the $2.1 million in potential money, $974,000 was awarded, and it ended in October 2021. So as EcoHealth Alliance is in the middle of this coronavirus gain-of-function dispute and controversy and potential fraud, they're in the meantime getting money still in the middle of the pandemic from Department of Homeland Security related to biological threats. Now, let me make the connection. The biological threats, I think, can fairly be described that were coming from EcoHealth Alliance's use of government funding from other agencies to create viruses using gain-of-function techniques. Incredible. The U.S. government's secret grant to EcoHealth Alliance on biosafety deserves a full accounting, don't you think? Especially given the scandal in Wuhan with EcoHealth. So this is where Judicial Watch steps up to do something that the Congress hasn't yet done. I don't know if Congress knows about this. Maybe they don't know about it yet. Well, they will now, to investigate this scandal, which is enormous. As I said, it's the relationship between the EcoHealth Alliance and the federal government is the most significant issue related to the origins of COVID, and whether or not humanity will face other potential dangerous threats as a result of technique promoted by EcoHealth, which is gain of function, which is essentially making viruses that otherwise may not be able to infect humans, able to not only infect them, but infect them in an aggressive way that could, in theory, end the human race if the virus is terrible enough. So Judicial Watch has been, as I said, second to none in investigating this issue, and I'm glad we were able to file this lawsuit. I didn't know until we filed this lawsuit. I didn't know our investigators had figured this out, that DHS was giving money to EcoHealth for biological safety issues, related to biological threats. Who knew? I mean, do you want them getting money like that? Did you want them getting money like that? What were they doing for it? Talk about like circular self-funding. What's the phrase? I can't think of the phrase, but you know what I mean. Where you get the circular funding processes, where you get money to examine the threats that you're creating with other government money. I mean, that's what was going on here. That's the way it looks like to me. No wonder they want to tell us what's in the contract. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like our video down below.